shit, man. Well, I guess it will. I'll post this to YouTube.
Well, it's gonna be posted anyways, considering that it's a full video and you just end the stream, which is what I appreciate. I appreciate that. I just wish YouTube wasn't so shit at making broadcasts. I just wish it was better, similar to like Twitch. Then I'd just send it to it.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with YouTube. Seems fine to me. I like how you can like select different broadcasts, so like you don't have to change it every single time you switch games or something. That's kind of good.
No, yeah. The only thing I really get annoyed with is just the tediousness. It really is. Oh,
I don't find it tedious at all. Yeah, I don't have
maybe
an
it's just
issue.
my end.
So let me try to find this shit here. Finally. Okay, come on now. Come on
I
now.
have a question for y'all.
Yeah, your live's up now. I see it.
Yeah, what's up, Zai?
Do you think it is possible to control, like, the market, like when flea market hits, like whenever it comes out? Do you think it'll be possible to control it?
Flea market's
Bring it
not coming out.
for its core. Yeah.
They're not.
No, they
No.
said it was too complicated for the economy, and it would probably make things a lot worse in terms of what's it called?
That is lame.
It's not lame because it makes sense.
They are,
There's
Well-
reasons.
yeah, they are adding some sort of player-driven economy. They said, just not a flea market specifically. Yeah, what's up, Purge? Purge should be on this podcast because he's a famous streamer.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Follow, and like the video.
Must
What it
like,
do,
must
fellow
follow.
children? What it do, fellow kids?
Okay, can you guys hear any background noise coming from my stream?
Let me check your stream.
I'm not. You're the most famous streamer here, okay, Purge? That's all I can say about that, which means you're
I
famous.
think the only thing I hear is like a fan in the background. That's really it.
Okay, turn that off. Let's see if you can hear anything now. Okay, I think we are good to go.
Bruh.
Nah, you should be good now. You should be good now.
Alright. Wait. We can't just have like an...
Alright.
How do you want to start this?
Okay.
Start this live.
Okay, so, I guess we're gonna start now. Are you ready, Zai?
I am ready. Wait, hold on. My mic is too loud. Alright, there we go.
Hi everyone.
There we go.
Definitely, yeah. Well,
Alrighty.
you're an ex-famous streamer. Okay, so everyone,
I'm
we're gonna watch the Stalker 2 official developer deep dive that just came out the other day while we do this podcast. Of course, it'll be on muted. Have you guys seen this, by the way?
Stalker 2.
Stalker 2. The deep dive came out yesterday, and
it came out yesterday.
it's like 20 minutes of actual gameplay, and it is probably one of the most impressive games I've ever seen. Like, legit. I'm so surprised. I was not having high hopes for this because like they were being so secretive and all the delays, and like I was like, it's probably gonna be like not like the old Stalkers. It's probably just gonna be like some sort of like, fluffy bullshit, right?
Holy fucking photorealism.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, bro, you have to watch the developer deep dive of the guy playing the game. Like,
I'm watching it
the
right
amount of details they put into it is insane. It's insane. You're watching from an airplane right now. Nice. It's crazy. So it like the world design and the level design of like it has like breakable objects to, like, get around certain areas. When he shoots his gun, there's like you know how you have like an echo if you're like yelling outside, you can like hear yourself a bit. It gets an
now.
echo.
Similar to that, you can hear the
When you shoot the gun, it's like this feedback echo, and it sounds so realistic. Like the little things that the developers put in this game that so many other people don't put in their games is insane. Like I all I see when I watch this deep dive is like the honest to God love baked into the development of this game. Like, I can't even believe it when I watched it. So definitely check this deep dive out when you guys are like have time, because I was so blown away and impressed. I was like not getting my I was not getting my hopes up for this game, but like I'm definitely excited now.
I think the one thing about Stalker is the IP itself is so unique in its own right that everything that you see from Stalker, it is just I love that meme. It's all just made of love, and I think because they've not only I think they not only read the book of I think it was like something called Picnic.
Yeah,
And it was
Roadside
like a
Picnic. Yeah.
Roadside Picnic.
Mhm.
But they captured the idea of it beautifully, and they don't want to mess up the sequel. They were going to release this game, I think, this year, but they had to push it back a little bit because they knew they had to get it right the first time, or else it would flop. Because these kinds
Yeah.
of games are very, I would say, very niche. It's just similar to like Into the Radius 2. Like some people would enjoy it, others might not like it because it's just a weird idea. But I think with Stalker 2, it's definitely going to be a lot better than most other games that we'll see this year, and I'm hoping that we can see this game surpass all the other AAA studio titles that we've seen so far.
Well, I really think it will, and there's multiple reasons of why I think this. Like, this podcast isn't supposed to be about Stalker, but I am super hyped about this game now. And like when
We
if
have to showcase it
when
real
like
quick.
a day ago I was just like whatever, because like you know what studios do with IPs, right? They flip them, they make some shitty like you know shallow version of the game just to sell an IP and make money, right? Like that's just like I have such a bitter taste in my mouth about gaming and development and these companies in general, especially these days. But like these guys are like going through wars. Like they had to move their studio out of Ukraine when the war kicked off, and then that caused like a whole year delay. They moved it into like England, and they just like continued development. Two of the developers died because they joined the war, and like they just kept fucking grinding this game. They're just still making this game. The amount of like this was a few months ago, this was awarded like the most anticipated PC game. It was the most anticipated PC game award under like the same guys that do like the game of the year stuff. So it's like a big deal. They have a bunch of awards already like going into this, and like after watching this deep dive I'm like holy shit, like these guys clearly give such a shit about this game to have delayed it like 6 times, and to look at the quality that I'm seeing right now is insane. Like I'm like these guys are clear. I feel like the love comes from like I know when I'm making anything, whether it's like music or videos or whatever, is the time I waste the most is me experiencing it back and reflecting it back. So I'm listening to the song or I'm watching the video again, even though that's considered a huge waste of time. I feel like these guys are wasting a lot of time like playing the game a lot to make sure it's just good, and like because all I see is perfection. So anyway, that's my take.
I just hope that this kind of game doesn't fall underneath the title of very hyped about it, then it becomes very broken. So when Stalker 2 comes out, I pray that it is good, and it looks good already, but I'll need to see live gameplay from someone else other than the developer studio
Mm-hmm.
to make a good impression. So like if there's an early access for some parts of the game that some streamers or content creators can play, that isn't like Payday 3 where they just give them a different build of the game. It's going to be the exact same build that's going to be released to the public. Then I'll make my impressions on it. Right now though, what I'm seeing, it's gorgeous. The game's fucking beautiful. I've never seen such good graphics in a very long time aside from Metro Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much
Which was a fucking
similar
awesome
and
game.
badass game.
Yeah.
I never played it, but I know it's a badass
Oh,
game.
you should check it out. It's incredible. Yeah, one of my top favorites.
I know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Right now, though, I'm really diving deep into the Radius to Ghost of the Boar since the wipe happened, and
Mm-hmm.
now I'm kind of getting involved with some other things that I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to involve myself in some other things. So I'm trying to evolve into some more single player games and stuff like that. I'm trying to expand my horizon a lot more instead of just playing PvP games because I feel like right now in this industry for gaming, PvP is kind of a hit or miss. Like, yeah, you can hit, but it'll be the exact same as every other game, or it's going to be a huge miss and no one's going to ever fucking play it.
Yeah. No, that's a can of worms I want to get into after I'm done discussing like what I want to discuss today, which is a few different things, because like does get into like the massive amount of issues that's plaguing the gaming industry right now. But yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. But right now, I just want to ask you guys, how's wipe been for you for Ghost of Tabora?
Terrible.
It's starting to turn around for me, but yeah, how's wipe been? And what's your impressions of it too? Like, how's it been? First of all, like, what do you think about this wipe and like what they've done? Because
So I'll let Z take the stand first then,
Alright.
for this because I have a lot to say, but I want Z to talk about it first.
It just feels better. It's like refreshing. It's like to play again. But also, I'm washed. I suck at the game now.
what did you not play
And,
last wipe, Z?
Play a little bit. I dabbled.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Dabbled.
You dabbled, yeah.
Yeah.
Dabbled in the cat update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy.
But I am broke into Boar, and all I have to show for it is trader levels that I can't even use because I'm broke.
Yeah.
So yep.
Oh, gotta
Okay.
get grinding again.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my first ever time actually buying the Nuclear Night Edition.
Oh yeah, you just bought
I-
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also
so,
the dark side.
Yeah,
well,
really.
that's-
Pay to win.
That's one thing I'll talk about later. But right now, my impression of this update, even aside from buying that, the upgrade, it's definitely one of the more polished updates that we've seen thus far from Ghost of Tabor. There's obviously some things that they need to get like right. So, for example, like the lever action, definitely very janky. If they take some inspiration from Into the Radius 2, I think they could definitely make something worthwhile where you can press trigger again and hold it to cock the lever out and then back in. I feel like that could actually work. Instead of pressing a fucking button every time, I feel like that's so annoying to me.
Yeah, I don't get.
Um,
I get why, like, how it works, but like I don't know why they made it that way. It just seems weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Other things about the update that I am enjoying so far, doors. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Doors are pretty big.
A lot of
Yeah.
people will. I think a lot of people may dismiss doors as like something just nuanced, but it's something a lot more to it than meets the eye. And I'll discuss
Look,
it
when
in a
you've been
second.
playing this game the whole time, there's been no doors, and then they bring back doors.
Yeah.
The gameplay changes, the flanking changes, how you clear buildings, like
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the gameplay changes. Yeah. Yeah.
So other things I think let me look up their little patch note thing here real quick. They also added in some new items like the DLC update. They added in the revolver. They added in a double barrel shotgun. Still need to really work on those physics on those because I kind of want to be able to pull up the shotgun with just one hand and lock and load instead of fucking trying to use both hands. It just feels annoying to not use one hand. I'm excited about the quality of life improvements. There's the water jug for the nursery, which I've used finally, and now I can actually make NRSs instead of just, taking 3 hours worth of my time to fucking fill up water from down there and back.
Mhm.
Squad chat's interesting. I don't know if I'll ever use it. I'll probably just use Discord if I'm playing with the boys. The holographic site, I'm much appreciative of that, making that into
Yeah, I like
a
that too.
single attachment.
Yeah, you can get it
Yeah.
earlier than the hollow the flip
Times.
site. Yeah, the 2 times. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. The only thing else that I would say is pretty good is the Tika T3, or not? The Tika T3. For me, it's probably one of my favorite weapons right now because it's a good early to mid wipe weapon that not only you can put different attachments on there, but you can put attachments on there to begin with. Most bolt-action rifles in that game don't even have any attachment rails for you to use, like the Mosin or the what was it? The car was the other one the car, or was
Yes.
was it a different name?
Car
It is
98. Yeah.
Yeah. So any of those bolt actions now feels a lot better to use because of the attachment slot. So I can put in different scopes like an ACOG on there, which by the way, I've been very happy to be able to use it and kill someone with a GPU in their backpack and one-shot them from like 120 meters.
Hmm.
I've never felt happy about getting long shot kills in this game because most of the time you're playing close quarters or like mid-range. You
Mm.
usually don't use even fucking 2 times or even 4 times scope, and now being able to use it, it's been nice. But other than that, I'm glad it's just a quality of life improvement. It's a big W for Ghost of Tabor and the Taboris. I think that in terms of the doors now, let's talk about the doors. I think it's one of the biggest updates that we've had for like dynamic interactions, and I will talk about this a lot. So I will be saying a lot of dynamic interactions. So pardon me, but it's the most important update because not only do we have something to not only change the pace of different players in the game, but we also have a chance to see more dynamic interactions of the map because the maps feel stale.
Hmm.
Let's just be real. Matka Underground, regular Matka, Island of Tabor, Before the Doors, and even Silo, they all felt just static. The only thing that you would say is dynamic are the big giant gates you can open to like prison and island, silos, like little gate here and there, and then like the keycard rooms.
That's
But other
right.
than that, it just doesn't feel as dynamic before. But now with these doors, we are going to see more stuff like that in the future, and I'm excited for it because if there's something I want to see is making the maps feel more alive. Not add more NPCs, not make them, static or like go in a linear line, not adding in more boxes. I just want something in there like the doors to make the maps feel a lot more alive and and very very replayable. Because sometimes I've only just played Island of Tabor. I didn't play any other maps, and about 66% of the players that did the poll about like a couple months back told everyone that Island of Tabor was the only map that people really played.
Yeah, it's the one they like the most. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Remember that zip line from
Yeah.
the rooftop to the billboard they used to have way back in the day?
What?
Yeah, that was the first
cannot
light.
even remember
That was the
that.
first wipe they had. That they got rid of it, and I don't think they wanted to bring it back. No, it was an interesting feature they had.
It's an interesting concept for certain.
If you guys look it up, you'll see it. It's funny. Yeah, it's the zip line they had.
Ghost of Tabor zipline. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
Ghost of Tabor zipline.
I think,
fucking
uh,
way.
I think the maps will become more alive, like whenever standalone like gradually has performance upgrades, and the
Yeah.
graphics get better.
Well,
Yeah.
the Quest 4 has been confirmed to come out in 2025, the end of 2025 already.
I don't want to
That'll
spend
be
money on
something
any
I'm
more
saving up
Quest
for,
items.
yeah.
All right. I will sell my Quest 3 and get the Quest 4 for sure. That's what I'll do every new headset. Yeah. So-
Either that, or I'll save up for the big screen beyond, and then buy some Index Valve controllers, because they basically are just goggles for your head, and they work so well.
That might be a better
So
option for
it's
people who
like
just
something
have
like that.
PC, right? Like, because you don't need to buy a new headset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you just are a PC VR player, I definitely think it's an investment. Unless the Quest 4 has something that makes it a lot better to play not only on PC VR but standalone and have similar qualities, I'm not really gonna change out of my Quest 2. My Quest 2 shall stay forever as king of the VR headset entry world.
Yeah. No, same with me. Quest 2 was the first thing I picked up and thought it was like kick ass. The Quest 3 is fucking awesome. Like, what I like about the Quest 3, like, I played standalone last night for about 2 hours, and it was a lot of fun. Made some crazy plays. I was surprised at how well Ghost of War runs on the standalone, and the game looks like shit either way. I think PC or Quest just kind of a crummy looking game just because it needs to be functional on the Quest system. But what I loved about the Quest is just its interface, like going in and out of the menu, going out of going into pass through, like everything works really nicely. I was surprised at how like well that worked, and like my PC desktop, or like what would you say VR desktop, like it's really finicky and fucked up, and that's what I've been used to using. I was like never just played standalone before, and it was chill. I liked it a lot. I think Quest is doing a lot of the good things, and the one thing I do like about Quest also is that like it has exclusives. Like I'm looking forward to playing Asgard's Wrath 2 and other games that are exclusive to Quest, because they're buying IPs, they're buying up studios, and they want to be like the Steam of VR. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I find it interesting, especially since in VR in general, I think we're in like the silver era. We're not in the golden era yet, I think, in terms of like VR headsets, because there's only so many competitors for entry-level VR headsets, and Quest is the only one that I've seen so far that has brought down their pricing to like $250 for one of their headsets. So it'll be tough to see if there's any other big like company out there that wants to evolve, like maybe even Microsoft. PlayStation, I guess, is a close second technically, because they've released the PC adapter now, but it doesn't have the haptic feedbacks for the controller or the what's it called, or the I think the eye tracking doesn't even work either on the PC adapter.
Oh really?
But they'll probably come up with, I think they'll come up with an update in the future though for it.
I wouldn't see why not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the PSVR 2 is probably the best headset to date for quality, and especially for how well it was designed. And I mean, it's Sony. They're always a tech company. They're huge in tech. So the only ones I would say that can make a competition happen is Valve, when they release their Steam Deckard, whenever that fucking is coming out. Whenever that patent finally.
Oh, you mean the Valve? Is it the Valve Index? Is that the VR headset?
Index is the VR headset, but it's only PC VR. But I think Steam, or Valve, I should say, is looking towards something similar to a standalone headset, and they're probably connected with Steam somehow.
Yeah, the Valve 2 is going to come out. Just nobody knows anything about it yet. But that'll be pretty huge, because Steam doesn't release anything unless it's like completely innovative. Like that's why they haven't come out with any more Half-Life games, because like they only release a Half-Life game when it's like a huge step in like technology. You guys should watch this documentary about Steam and Valve and like how they do their business, because it's really different from like other businesses, like how they only release products when they think it's going to be a market mover in like tech and like a change in the industry. And that's why Half-Life was even a thing, because they were like, and like CSGO and stuff like that, like those IPs they own were released based off of this like new groundbreaking technology. And then Half-Life Alyx came out because they were just like, this, no one's done this before, this will change everything. And so like they're a really cool industry like that. They don't just like milk one thing to death, they actually like wait until something brand new that they've invented. So they're a super interesting company. Obviously they've done really well with Steam and everything.
I'm excited for it. I just hope that if it is innovative, I hope that they bring something along the lines of maybe Bluetooth, like maybe a better Bluetooth connectivity or better wireless connectivity instead of using your internet. Maybe they have some kind of, like wireless connection to your PC instead of using your internet. Because I'm sick and tired of these headsets being like, yeah, you can use it wirelessly, but you have to be right next to your router or shove it up your ass for it to actually fully work.
Oh, I know.
For me, it's annoying. So I think Valve is looking towards that as innovation. That's my guess, and that's my theory so far. But
It's
probably gonna be the same thing in terms of like maybe like tracking's different. Maybe the bases will be like an additional part that you can have for the next like headset. But aside from that, let's talk about the biggest news that we've had so far, and that's Arena Breakout Infinite. Is it infinite money now? Because, man,
or break out the credit card.
Break it out, dude.
What happened with it?
Dude,
So
I mean, everyone knew it was coming, but Yeah, you can buy everything in the game now. Essentially, is what it boils down to. You can buy like your secure containers, your keys, your weapons, your money, just everything. And everyone knew it was going to be a thing because Tencent, the company, owns it, and they're like the most like monetize you to death type company ever. They've also been like in multiple class action lawsuits of stealing people's information and selling it. And it's just they're just such a mess of a company. Yeah, all I can say is like this is going to be the biggest PSA ever. Is that if you play Arena Breakout Infinite, it is free. Don't give them a fucking dime, please, for the love of God. No one give them any money, because we can't support this practice, that this business practice that so many games are going for now. This whole like pay for shit, monetize, like over monetization, like bullshit. We can't go that direction. And like I'm wondering, because like Tarkov tried it and everyone fucking lost it, and Tarkov immediately backtracked, which I'm like, thank God Tarkov at least has some sort of sense, like what little sense they have left, in between the controversies of having, you know, banned players rebuy accounts, which is like everyone's like oh no, like they don't allow cheating in their game so cheaters can buy accounts again, yet it's proven that they have money in their pockets of cheaters but rebuying accounts. That's not disputed, right? The fact that they let that happen or not is, yeah, up for debate. But Tarkov at least backstepped from their pay to win feature that was going to come with 1.0 release. Everyone freaked out about the single player being like a pay to win DLC, or not a pay to win, like a paid DLC, because all Edge of Darkness players who bought that edition of the game were promised all DLCs for free, and Tarkov was going more like a pay to win type of thing, arguably pay to win for the versions of the game that you can buy, whether it's Edge of Darkness or starter pack or whatever it is. Same with Ghost of War, they have those packs, right? They ripped that business model straight from Battlestate games, and I wonder why. And like this whole situation with Arena Breakout Infinite, where they basically, you can buy literally anything, like seriously, like you can buy whatever you want with real money. So this thing, and the fucking amount of like brain dead people online that are defending this, I don't understand it. Like there's tons of them, man, like tons of them, and they're the loudest, I believe, minority, but there are a lot of them, and I can't believe it. Yeah, it's crazy. I just don't.
My okay. My opinion on Arena Breakout is people only ever played it because it was just refreshing to have a new game. It's literally just Tarkov with a different map, and
Yeah,
people just played it because it was refreshing.
and you know
It's
what's
not
so
really that.
you know what's so weird about that too? They capitalized on Tarkov coming out with their pay to win features. Like when Tarkov announced all this, like single player was pay, like you had to pay for single player. Oh, and by the way, we're releasing Unheard Edition, where you can like call in a BRT and call in your teammates halfway through raid. Like all this crazy shit that people are like, what the fuck? Arena Breakout Infinite was immediately like, haha, fuck you, Tarkov. Like we're gonna basically rip you apart on Twitter and be like, haha, come play Arena Breakout. At least you don't have to play some pay to win bullshit. And like a few months later, they just released this, and it makes like I'm just like, what? Like you had it in the, as Big Fry said in his video, like they had it in the bag. Like it just makes no fucking sense. And then Tarkov backsteps, which is thank fucking God, because they were about to ruin their game. They backstep because everyone fucking lost it, and then Arena Breakout Infinite's like, I don't know, just developed amnesia and just forgot about this whole situation. They're like, oh, by the way, you can buy everything. It's just like, it just destroys the point in these types of games. I think people don't understand like the fun in these types of games. Like equipment matters. It matters for like a real consequence in game. The game is supposed to be rewarding, not necessarily overly fun, but like way overly rewarding when you make the right decision. And like those concepts are just so lost amongst, I guess, the player base's understanding, and especially the developers. I just don't understand why it's something we don't understand.
I think the idea of pay to win in an extraction shooter only makes sense if it was PvE. Like if you want to buy extra storage instead of like having to like grind it for PvE, that's understandable. But if it's PvP, which the game is, that is the issue. And I think with Arena Breakout Infinite, they are trying to get the money that they need to make the servers, but this is not the way to go. 100%, this is not the way to go. And if I were them, I would retreat, pull back the pay to win aspects of buying in game currency, and instead make a different approach of monetization, which would obviously be maybe like battle passes. And obviously, I hate the idea of a battle pass in an extraction shooter, but I think the idea of a battle pass that you can pay for maybe cosmetics or in other ways of, like, say for example, you want to get a different style of attachment. You want a long barrel, but you want it to be like threaded, maybe in a sense, or nothing that's gonna like game break change it. But I feel like cosmetics in extraction shooters are widely accepted.
Oh yeah,
Because they
absolutely.
want
Yeah.
because people want to make the guns how they want to make them. So people want to make an M4 with a tan stock, a tan foregrip, and a tan barrel or cover. Like, yeah, they should be allowed to do that, and they should be able to buy the cosmetics for it. And I think that is something that they'll have to earn, though, through gameplay. Now, the issue, though, with extraction shooters, and I've seen this a lot, is how much grind it takes for a lot of these games. Escape from Tarkov, Ghost of the Boar, Arena Breakout Infinite, all these games have a grind that takes a really long time. And for them to have an opportunity to say, hey, do you want to bypass the grind and just try to, if you want to just play the game normally and fuck around and find out, I don't mind that. But in a game where you're putting so many hours on end to not only get loot, but to also get materials, items needed for quests, and putting that amount of hours into it only to get fucking squashed by someone who decided to slide their credit card over to Tencent, that is the reason why I think people are busted. Not because, oh, they can, buy this stuff. It's because it's game breaking. Because it will make the balancing of the game unbalanced and way worse than where it should be at now.
And even if it doesn't, it makes it so the game doesn't matter. Nothing in the game matters when somebody can just buy it. When you find like MVGs or like some sort of thermal or whatever, and you go, holy fuck, this is an extremely rare item. Well, in Arena Breakout Infinite, it's not. Like, it's just, there's the fun. It's gone now. Like, it just makes no sense that they, like, it makes sense because they're fucking greedy. Let's be honest. Like, that's it. Tencent's been known to be the most greedy company. Yeah, exactly. It's just, so I was just talking with Soul BC on his stream, and he keeps trying to, he keeps like, he has a lot of juicy info that he's like very eager to share, but he can't, about Ghost of the Boar and what's coming up and stuff. But like, he was saying like I was talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, like, don't, like, you see how we're trying to put out free equivalents of the DLC items just so like the balancing's right and this and that. And but in my, I'm like, holy shit, that's great. Like, it'll be like at this point it'll be an anomaly if Ghost of War like, leaves greed in the, like, if they just put greed away and they just make a good game, right? At this point it would be an anomaly. But the thing about these like game editions, like Edge of Darkness or like Nuclear Night, things like that, like everyone had a problem with that, but it's been a thing for so long, for like 9 years, that nobody talks about it anymore. Everybody does have a problem with these versions of the game, and I'm surprised that Ghost of the Boar, with like how like Soul BC was just saying, like, yeah, Scott doesn't like that. He doesn't want those in his game. Like, he won't be adding like this type of aspect to the game. Regardless of the DLCs, we'll always try to rebalance and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but it just seems weird that like with these editions of the game that you can buy, different editions of the game, that like opens the door, and like that was the start of it. And just because they became accepted eventually, it didn't even become accepted. It just became something people tolerated. And that's the worst part about it. It put the foot in the door and it made companies go, well, what else can we do? Right. And I'm just so surprised that Ghost of War would even consider doing, like, basically copying Battlestate Games' approach to that. And I wonder if they're opening that door. I wonder if they're just seeing what they can do. And especially with the player base of Ghost of War and how fucked they are, like how stupid the little kids are, and how much like you realize I've had like 3 people in my stream be like, I'm grounded because I stole my mom's credit card to buy some stupid shit. Like this is the fucking player base of this. Like if anyone could get away with this fucking garbage, it would be Ghost of War. Let's be honest. Like they would be the ones. No one would fucking pipe up about pay to win aspects because they'd pay for it.
The other thing too is that the top max players that we've seen in Tabor, and Scott said it himself in Discord, was 10,000 players. That is a small amount in comparison to all these other games, and that's the one thing I could agree on, is that they could get away with it. They could, and these additions, and the one that I bought, what the sole purpose of that was because not only do I want to support these developers, because I think Ghost of the Boar is going somewhere, and I want to invest in them, but it's also because I don't want to fucking do 30 plus hours worth of fucking time to upgrade to level 2. And all these people are like, oh, it's just a skill issue. Fuck you, it's a skill issue. You tell me you get 15 players in 5 raids.
Yeah.
You tell me you get 15 players in 5 raids, and not one of them is a fucking kid. Because most of them are. Every time you go into Silo, you can do it easily. You run in with an SMG, or you bring an M4. Oh my fuck, this fucking cat. My cat's on my desk. Get down! Get down from here! But it's the idea that someone could say, oh, it's a skill issue because, well, why aren't you just killing all these fucking players? Because they're players that have the equivalent skill level of me, if not better. So I'm gonna say, yes, it is a little skill issue, but you tell me that if you go into Silo and you kill 3 players and get out, you're gonna tell me that not one of them was a fucking kid.
Yeah. Do you guys think this game would be so fun if there was no additions of the game? Everyone started at level 1.
Yeah.
No.
I
think
so.
it would be.
I think it would be an insanely fun game about that.
Not unless they change the way quest leveling works. Not
Well,
unless they
honestly,
change that,
yes, of course, but like it matters so much less though. Like if everyone started at 1, like
My opinion on the additions is like, yeah, for instance, I use standard edition on Ghost of the Boar, and Jake, you have Nuclear Knight. If we were to both see, my problem is I quit when I die, but if we were to both stay on for the exact same amount of time, like every playing session, right? You would have an advantage, but over time it would just level out, and we'd be in the same position. Doesn't matter if you have Nuclear Knight or not. It levels out like to mid wipe.
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, yeah, and I totally agree. If you play enough, like you're gonna just get to this point where you just don't need to worry about money and shit. And that's how these games are designed. And it's cool. I like that you get to this powerful point. But like recently, I've been doing like really good snowballs in Ghost of the Boar. And it's made me realize like how good the snowball aspect is in this game. Like killing somebody who's got a purple, and then you run a purple and get another purple, and then you get their gun, and like you can really snowball into like a lot of good raids. Like that is so much easier to do with like a paid edition of the game. Like you start off with AK alphas and shit, and like you could snowball
better armor.
Yeah, better armor. Like you're gonna snowball so much easier and so much more often, and you are gonna be like more well off. That being said, yes, you are gonna also lose that kit. There's no kit that you're gonna keep. You are gonna lose it eventually. So yeah, and then of course when you play enough, you get unlimited money, and it doesn't matter. So yeah, it does balance out. So it's just the whole snowballing aspect and like the fairness, and that it's like, oh yes, it's pay to win, but like not really, and it seems really, but like wouldn't it be so fucking awesome if we just were running in there with like MP40s and just like everyone was just naked, just fucking going at it? Like that would just be so much fun. I think that'd be a great part of the game.
Fun. But the issue I think is that with, and I'm gonna keep going back to this because I think it's an important aspect of this game. God damn cat. Get down from my desk. Enough is enough. Sorry about that. I love my cat so much. He just likes to roam around on my fucking desk and tries to.
Yeah, I have a bunch of friends that have that same issue. Their cats.
Attention-seeking horror.
Mm.
In terms of the game for Ghost of Tabor and the different editions, I think the reason why people may say it's busted or pay to win is because they have to go through hours on end to get to level 2 with the shitty quests that are, god damn it, this cat, to get to level 2 with all these quests that are not only annoying but very much tedious, because a lot of the quests that you want to do, they give you like maybe 2,000 3,000 for like AI killing, and that's easy to do, sure, but the player quests are huge in XP. Some of them say kill 25 players. That's easy, just play the game, kill players, and have fun. But the ones about, hey, don't die 3 times in a row and kill these amount of players, or hey, go about your day and kill 7 players with a Makarov without dying. Like, what the fuck? What are these quests?
Well, I think we can agree they're just placeholders until other quests come out. And not only that, but like honestly, they are what they are. Like if you play Tarkov, they can be just as tedious. I think that's a bit of a staple in these types of games.
But that's the issue, though, is because they're tedious, they're not fun. That's the issue I think that like extraction shooters in general have. Don't get me wrong, with Tabor, I'll give them leniency because they are place orders. I do think that's fine, because a new whole thing is coming out soon. I'm super excited to see what new missions will come out of it, because I want to explore the world. I want to find items that, not are easy to find, but easy enough to be like, okay, we'll go in a couple raids and see if I can find him, and then turn it in. I think that's fine. The issue is just because of how tedious they are, that they purposely make it to try to prolong the longevity of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't try to make it fun. They try to make it as tedious as possible so that you have to grind your ass off to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a big balance, though. That's a big balance, because if they're not a grind, like, people are just going to progress too easily and too quickly. Like, they have to be hard. Like, regardless of grind or not, they have to be difficult. Yeah. And it will, and it's gonna feel like they're difficult for difficult's sake, and that's just a thing. That's gonna be a lot of trial and error getting that one right. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I will complain about this until the missions overhaul happen. But at this point, I've said my piece on it. But I will say though, what Tabor is doing right now for the quality of life improvements is a huge thing. Because a lot of players were really tired of the jankiness of the game and not making it a little bit easier for players to like water their plants, or maybe even get like different attachments that are way better in terms of reticle. Because the ACOG scope sucks. I think it sucks. That's why everyone's using the Holo 2X sight most of the time than any other site that I've seen. But at the same time, there's other quality life improvements as well, aside from just attachments and the water stuff. There's also a big bug patch, which I'm so happy they did. I'm glad
I think that's what they're focusing most on. Yeah, I think they're like really like, okay. So my one complaint about this wipe, and I don't think anyone else feels this way, and I feel like a bitch for even saying it, but like I just feel like, they spent the whole last wipe like not adding much content, and then this wipe just felt like there was no content again. And I feel like that was not done on purpose. Clearly they're doing a lot and that's not their fault, but like, man, there's just no content still. Like, I don't know, that's just my one little gripe with this wipe.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Everything else though has been superb, and I'm very happy about the developers. They're doing a great job so far. I'm just still waiting for that moment of the mission overhaul, the new map that's coming out, the new content drop with a bunch of new things, new features,
Mhm.
and hopefully leaning will be implemented, which will make a much more dynamic playstyle for players because every time you lean in real life, you're not leaning in real life, you're moving your entire body. So
Yeah,
adding that
yeah,
feature
that gets me
of,
killed all
of
the time. Yeah, yeah.
immersion, right?
Leaning's gonna be huge too. It's gonna feel like Doors, man. It's just gonna feel like it changes the game a lot. Like it's gonna feel so different when you're playing. Like clearing the
It will
rooms
too.
and like and looking for players is gonna feel so different. It's gonna be cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that feature. Anything that adds like tactics and like strategy and realism and if it covers all those bases, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Freedom of play. That's why I don't like Mach Underground so much because it like takes away so many like tactical options and like different types of gameplay that you could.
I mean, some of it was like assetted, right? So, I mean, there's only so much you can do with an asset,
Mhm.
and especially trying to get a whole new map out.
Yeah,
I understand that completely.
I mean the only map that feels like that for me in Tarkov, and it's only one map, is like Labs, and like
Yeah, labs.
and even then they have two massive like open lobby areas where like you can get some good cover and good angles and stuff in. But like yeah, is a bit
Am I too
hallway and
quiet?
no, I don't think you are.
Someone said I was too quiet.
The one guy is way too quiet. I can barely hear him. Soon
Hello.
going down the road. Oh
I do, real quick. I want to backtrack to the tactics thing, like involving leaning.
yes,
Um,
please tell me, Z.
so, one thing that needs to be added, like, leaning will bring how do I articulate this? Like, no generals in Tarkov. He doesn't lean and then go for the kill. He just taps. He leans and then shoots once and unpeaks.
Yeah,
And it adds more tactic instead of just whoever has the better armor wins. And
yeah,
I think there needs to be more consequence for when you get shot instead of being
Yeah.
able to tank the whole entire mag. There should be like you slow down, you get like an onward whenever you get shot at. There's like a weird effect, and it makes you. It's like a scared effect almost. It should be like that where there's consequences to you getting
Oh,
shot.
that's I think I know what you're talking about. That's called fuck. It's not called cover fire. It's called, well, I guess it technically is cover fire, but it's I
Suppressive
understand the
fire.
concept. Suppressive fire. There you go.
Yeah.
Suppressive fire is a great idea for this game, but I feel like if it reduces the movement of the player, I feel like that will be a bad idea because
Well,
I think because if you reduce movement in the game, especially in this game right now, it would definitely fuck up the entire pacing of the game.
yeah. I
But
think there should be a more in depth like when you get your leg broken, when your leg gets shot, there's a chance to get broken, and then you slow down. Because right now you
yeah,
can just tank shots,
yeah,
and
yeah.
instead of if you have good armor, you can just run away, and
And that would
you're
that would
good.
that
But
would give them options to add more like VR aspects to the game too, like knowing how to like
yeah,
heal certain things with using like VR haptics. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like I think VR games need to focus on like being a VR game and like what you can do in VR, like the movements
be
and everything.
immersive.
Yeah, like do VR stuff. People play VR for VR still, and yeah, I think that'd
That's
be
why.
cool.
Oh man, that's why I think doors are so important because it gives interactability in a
Yes,
map
yeah,
that's so
interaction,
fucking
yeah.
static. So like, and people will roll my eye or roll their eyes when I say this game because it's been talked about multiple times. Half-Life Alex, right? The reason why it became so successful is because the ideology of the developer saying, "Can I do this?" Because VR is about immersing yourself into another world. So your idea, your logic is, okay, if I can do this in real life, I should be able to do it in game. Which is why I think it's important that like different parts of the VR game, say for example physics, are interactable. So like small items that are just stupid, like pans or kitchenware. I would even say like weapons, goggles, whatever, like anything in the game should be interactable, which is why I'm able to put a fucking cone on my head in a mask, a birthday mask in Half-Life Alex and run around like a goofball.
Hmm.
And that interactability makes it much more immersive than it is if you were to just make the map and nothing can be interacted. Like in Ghost of the Boar, there are bookshelves. I wish there was a way for me to be able to move the books in the bookshelf because my curiosity peaks for that.
Hmm.
Same thing with nighttime raids in Island of Tabor. I want to be able to shoot out lights.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
can't I do that?
yeah. That would
Why
be.
can't I shoot out the TV screen?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. That was something they added in Tarkov slowly over time. More and more lights could be shot out. That'd be fucking awesome. Um, yeah, as in those assets though, that's a tough one because even in like the Assassin's Creed game that I'm playing, it's like a really advanced like for standalone. It's similar. Like you can't grab books off of shelves and stuff. Like Half-Life Alex, you can because it's so like optimized. It's a PC game. Um, and
Yeah.
that's what I hate about VR right now is like comparing standalone to PCs. Like is like yeah, it's a big difference. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just in
I think
technical
if there's
aspects,
something
yeah.
if there's something that I think that would be cool in Ghost of the Boar, and I know this would probably be added in the future, maybe one day, but here's an idea to the developers. Have different interactable books, and if you open them, they have lore in them about the area.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Don't
be
tell me
able to
about
like
lore.
actually like being able to grab the book, put it into your backpack as like a little like Easter egg, and then you can read the book about like what happened in labs or what happened in prison,
Mhm.
what happened in Silo. Because even though there's like, you know, lore in some of the fucking maps, they're not as interactive as in comparison to like even Into the Radius 1.
Mhm.
That's an old game, but you can interact with a lot of things. Sunflower seeds, kitchenware.
Mhm.
I don't know what's my obsession with kitchenware. I just thought of it off the top of my head. Um but there's so many items in Into the Radius 2 that are interactable, but they don't do anything, but they're interactable. I
Mhm.
could take a frying pan home with me, put it into my base, and say that's mine now.
Yeah, yeah.
This, so if there's something that could be added right now, though, not in the future, making the maps more interactable with, and I've talked about this before with you guys, like say for example windows with curtains or allowing mounting for weapons, because not only would that allow players to have more interaction with the map, but it'll make it feel much more alive and make it much more dynamic for how players want to play. You want to be able to lay down and mount your MG, or is it your MG with a bipod on? This fucking cat's biting my hand. You can do that. Like you should be able to do that kind of stuff. And I feel like it's not an easy insert, obviously, but I think it could make a temporary it could make it as a temporary content update, which would be good.
Yeah, yeah, no. That would be a great idea if they just added more assets in the game, um kind of like Tarkov, just make it look like there's just junk all over the place. Like Into the Radius is great. There's just crap all over the place. The world looks lived in. Um I
Yes.
love using Tarkov as an example because I think Tarkov they're an example of a game who paid attention to what makes a good game. Like they paid attention to Stalker and what made that such a cult following, and they were just like, that's what we're gonna do. Like we like out of all like the out of all that game development in that game and like all of the controversy they've been through, they've never sacrificed their original goal, which was make the world feel like it's been lived in through first of all AI, where it kind of does things without you being there, and that's such a staple of like Stalker. The world just
Yeah.
persists, and of course just like make the world feel lived in through level design and do storytelling through missions. So like they have an incredibly like immersive world through those aspects, and that's all like a Stalker thing. Like those guys pioneered that idea, and yeah, it would be fucking crazy if like Ghost of War really like paid attention to that and wanted to do something like that and just made a game, making a game based on your experience is like so important, and that's what Stalker did. And I think a lot of people don't take that for granted. People are like, Stalker's cool because it's like hard. It's like, no, it's because they paid
It's
attention.
immersive.
Yeah, it's immersive. They paid attention to the to the like that lived in the persistent world, and how you experience the game as like like an art form. I mean, I think games are very like they're extremely creative in how they're made, and in their art design, and I think they're complete, and how you experience the gameplay loop is all very artistic. I think it's extremely creative. You know, it compels the consumer. Like there's a lot you have to do to make a good game, and if you focus on like the experience over just like the gameplay, like I think you'll have something really incredible on your hands. And to do both really well is obviously super hard to do, but yeah, no, that I totally agree with that aspect. Like, have this game look like it's lived in, you know, make it feel like the world is completely interactable. Yeah, that would be highly important to me. Yeah.
You know what would make that come to life? That the idea, the first step towards that? Make cats kidnappable. In order to get a bunker cat, you have to find one in raid and kidnap it.
That actually would be pretty funny.
That'd
I'm
be
not gonna lie.
hilarious. Yeah, take your cat in a raid with you. That'd be super funny. Stuff it in your backpack. It just
And there's
sits
like
there.
different kinds on different maps.
Yeah, yeah. And like it's super rare, like the flight recorder. There's just like this like super rare like black cat that like no one can
Yeah.
find unless they can like. It's super hard to find. Like only a few people have it because they play the game a lot or something. Yeah, it'd be hilarious,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Yeah, add you like unique things like that would be. I mean, as silly as an idea as it is, as that is, like unique things like that would be just add so much to the game. Like it would give like like giving people more things to just grind to that don't actually affect the gameplay is so important. Like it just adds that extra experience, right? I keep talking about experience in gaming. Like it adds to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
You know what? I think this just randomly came to mind, but you know how there's the skins if you can buy cosmetics for your guns. I guess not pay to win, but you just have cosmetics.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if those cosmetics you could get them without paying, but they're just extremely rare. Like
Mhm.
you have to do certain things to get them.
Well, I mean, one of
And,
the things that they added in for Ghost of the Boar was the fish UMP 45.
Yeah.
If you killed one of the night guys
Yeah.
on an island, you can get it.
See,
So
that's cool. Like you have to actually do something that gets you something that doesn't like necessarily change the gameplay a lot. Like just gives you something to do, and that's what I like with Tarkov. I wish they would add more stuff like this in Tarkov, like give you more shit to do. And they've done this recently with their achievements. Like they just added achievements last wipe, like just random like you know kill
I mean-
100 times or do this like a few amount of times. Like, you
welcome
get-
to Tarkov and
Yeah.
die for to
yeah, you get
fucking
these
what,
weird
Claymore.
achievements, but it gives you more shit to do. Just add shit to do. I'm all in favor for. Yeah.
It's kind of like we're in an age for extraction shooters being brain rot, and I think that's like no joke, and being all serious. All these games that we've seen so far for extraction shooters have these really annoying quests that don't really do anything for you other than maybe XP and a little bit of money. And Tarkov, I would say, is the only example that is a little different, where they made quests that have actual lore to them, as well as actually give you something in return that's more valuable.
Mhm.
Like, I think like most of the extraction shooters just give you money and XP. Tarkov actually gives you other items. Like you'll get a vest, you'll get these weapons. Here you go. Here's a fucking expensive Bitcoin that you can sell on the flea market. All that stuff. It feels a lot more immersive, and it makes me feel like, yeah, I do want to do that. And then
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end game of it all, you want to get the Kappa case, which is like getting all the streamer items, which I have never done in my entire life at all, because that just sounds
That'd be
painful.
ridiculously hard. Yeah, and you got to do Psycho Shooter and all these like crazy quests that are so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have the patience for that. But no, it gives you stuff to do. Like Tarkov has so much stuff you can just do. Like you don't have to do one thing or take it one way, And that's what I mean, fuck, man, that's why Stalker Anomaly was so brilliant. Like the mod pack for Stalker, like that game, you can play that game in like 12 different ways. It's insane. You can start off at like different factions at different points in the game that give you different benefits and equipment. Like it gives you different storylines. Like it's fucking Stalker is one of those like one of those insane experiences that were just gifted to us, and it's free. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just can't. I just like personally am just can't stand like the dated graphics, but like I mean, it's a timeless game. Of course, it's old. It just looks a little crummy, but Stalker 2 is coming out with full mod support, and you know that shit's wild. To add full mod support to your game has like it's like something that's really hard to do and adds no benefit to your game too, except for that it makes the players like be able to like make it better. I think
It just makes a better community, to be honest with you.
yeah, well, it adds no benefit to your sales or anything. It just makes it so like players can take your game and do something amazing with it. I think that's why like Stalker, these guys behind Stalker are like brilliant. They like I think they just love their game so much that they just like are putting so much into it that'll make the game better, and that's all they care about. Like if they didn't care about that, they would have released a piece of shit on a great IP years ago where everyone would have bought into the early access, and they would have just said, fuck it, there you go, take your money and run. That's totally what they would have done, because that's like the norm these days. The day before and all this fucking garbage they've been releasing. Yeah, it's insane.
Don't remind me of that fucking god awful game.
Battlefield
Do not
2042.
remind me of that game.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. I was so sick and tired of seeing that game getting praised left and right.
I know. I knew 4
For
years ago
some
before
reason,
it came out. It was trash.
The trailer originally was skeptical because like, that doesn't look like real gameplay, because it's fucking not.
Complete ass.
And then all of a sudden, then they showed the real gameplay of this girl with a thick ass, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is definitely
not a
over
real
from
game,
from
yeah.
even the start. Yeah,
And then
no
Dr.
fucking
Disrespect,
way.
who I called a pedophile like a year ago, is like, oh yeah, this game's pretty good actually. I'm like, oh fuck off. 2 days later, it shuts down. I'm like, who fucking watched this?
Then
Fucking hell.
then recent month came up. Yep, that motherfucker is gone. Dude, I'm just so sick and tired this year. It's good that like the truth of things are coming out. So like gaming and like people who are shitty, it's great. It's good because we need to filter that out. But at the same time, can I just have a fucking video game that isn't pay to win or
Yeah.
microtransaction to no end? Please?
Well,
Can I just have that?
I gotta tell Zai, because there was a time where like games were released as full products and they were good, they were finished, and like people
There
loved
was
them,
indeed.
and like you just played them and they were fucking awesome. Like I think
Oh yeah.
like I think like when I'm a huge Battlefield guy. I keep going back to Battlefield because I think it was my top played game, Battlefield 4, and I think that was the first game, unfortunately, that like came out and it was like really unfinished, and people were like, what the fuck? And like no one had experienced like a super like buggy like unfinished game before. And then Battlefield did a bunch of updates and they fixed it, and people were like, damn, like this game's great, and it turned out to be one of my top favorite games ever. And but I think they helped open that door too, especially with how they've been going into 2042, and it's just still a piece of shit today. So yeah, that's a tragic story for the times. Yeah. But
Man, I miss the days of being able to just buy a game. It's, released.
it was
and
a
even
sick
though it
game,
looked-
yeah.
It's a full game. I missed Halo when it first released.
Yeah, the
Um,
Halo era was epic for sure. An online game that would
One
come out.
through Reach.
Yeah,
One through Reach, by the way.
yeah, exactly. And
Those specific ones.
yeah, and like it's like when those games are out, like online gaming is just exploding. Like these games would come out so fucking polished. I'm pretty sure they like barely did updates when they came out because they were just so good. They were just so polished, and like they just worked so well.
Yeah.
And like of course we had like the golden era of gaming consoles, right? We're aging ourselves here. We had like the Xbox 360 and fucking PS2 and PS3. Like that shit was fucking peak.
Man, we're just going down a nostalgia trip. now,
Yeah,
aren't
it
we?
is. And then I just feel like shit's gone downhill from there. But that was back in the
So
day when gaming wasn't as huge as it is, and there wasn't these huge like
yeah,
conglomerates making insane amounts of money off it. There were just companies that did gaming because they thought they could be the best at it, and that's what made you money. Nowadays, it's like let's trick and lie as much as we fucking possibly can through our teeth. Like, I don't know where the fuck it went to that it got to that point. Because like, Jesus Christ, like the lying and the bullshit in gaming these days is like you can't trust anything people are pushing
it's
anymore.
huge. It's
Yeah,
yeah, the amount of lying that has been happening in recent gaming has been, if anything, the worst it's been in about let's say 4 to 5 years.
yeah.
Like
It's been
I
like
would
the
even
media
say,
as well. It's like media and gaming. They're both like are in cahoots with each other. Let's just lie as much as we can to people. It just seems like such a terrible time for gaming and media.
well, it's worked when loot boxes were still a thing, and they can just say no, it's not gambling. It's not
Yeah.
gambling at all. It's like, the fuck do you mean? I randomly get a duplicate of an item that I don't even want a duplicate in, and you even patch the note saying, "Hey, no duplicates." The fuck you mean? But if there's something that I do want to talk about now is the worry of Delta Force Hawk Ops.
Yeah, that's what
What
we're
is
getting
that?
to. So Delta Force Hawk Ops is, I guess, it was okay. It's interesting because it's like a Call of Duty esque with the gunplay. It has Battlefield
Mhm.
type game modes with rush and capture the flag and big open maps for like war and
Mhm.
helicopters and vehicles. So it's kind of more of a response to Battlefield. It was like a response to Battlefield 2042. Like it was it's not out yet. It's like almost coming out. It's in closed beta. People are
It's
playing
early
it.
access.
Early access. So people you
Yeah.
can get a key for it right now. It's coming out. And it has a very in-depth extraction shooter zone, extraction looter shooter, that everyone is really excited about too. It was supposed to be the answer to DMZ because Call of Duty for some reason fucked that one up, even though they had that one in the bag as well. Oh man, that's a whole nother story there. But yeah, Zai, you'll probably be hearing more about this game, but they're going down the same road as Arena Breakout Infinite, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we won't do that." Blah blah blah. Like, but everybody can kind of tell they're gonna go that way, and it's just gonna be a shadow of the game it should have been. You know, like a good extraction looter shooter, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be
The
this
other
Yeah.
monetized bullshit.
the other
It is
thing
evil.
the
It
other
is.
thing that's also interesting is that they have their own extraction shooter as well, which fucking cat, I swear to God, please. Okay, stay.
He wants to
Jesus
join.
Christ. He's been purring nonstop because I've been petting him, but I'm tired. I need him to stop. Just stop, please. Don't come up here. But Delta Force actually has their own extraction shooter, which I find interesting because it's similar in gameplay style to Call of Duty and how expansive it is as Battlefield. So, in terms of this game, I haven't played it yet. It is free to play. I'm expecting a battle pass, but I'm also expecting some other microtransactions for maybe a couple of other things.
Is it
But
going to
I don't
be
think
like free to play from like the foreseeable future? Like is it going to be an open service
yes.
game? So yeah, like we can
Yes.
expect it's going to be like monetized to fucking shit type of game too. Like I
Well,
think
that yeah.
I think games like Arena Breakout Infinite and Black Hawk and what is it, Hawk Ops, whatever Infinite or whatever the fuck the game's called.
That's something on
I
your
think-
mind, bud.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I was thinking about something. I think both these games were like kind of conceived back in the like halfway up through Tarkov days when Tarkov started getting really popular, and everybody's got a bit of an echo of like Fortnite, because Fortnite like was the first game that was like open service that did really fucking well. And after Fortnite, that was the first time we had Warzone, right? And Warzone was like Call of Duty was like known to be fucking super greedy with the prices of their games at that time. And then Warzone came out, it was free, and they just copied Fortnite's like business model with this like free thing that you could monetize with cosmetics, and they were going that route for a long time, and now they've gone more pay to win, which I just think I just don't understand why that's a route over cosmetics. I think it started out as cosmetics because Fortnite did so well with it, and then now it's just like, oh, basically get a cheat code for money. Like it just it's crazy to me. I just don't understand why
Oh,
that's
you can request access right now. Actually, anyone can just join
anyone
up.
can join now. Yeah, yeah. I know it's like an
Yeah.
closed beta, but it's like unlimited keys or something. Anyway, it's gearing up for release. Yeah.
Yeah.
The game
I
looks
think
super interesting.
Warzone.
Yeah.
I think Warzone
It
ruined
does.
Call of Duty.
I don't think it ruined. I don't think Warzone ruined it. I think when they first released the battle royale for either, I think it was Black Ops 4. That's when it started ruining Call of Duty. Aside from obviously the loot boxes in Black Ops 3 and shit like that in Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
I could see why you're saying that though. Like it did open the doors to like pay to win shit
Yeah,
in Call of
everyone
Duty.
just started playing Warzone. Like Warzone is a thing, but I honestly think that the regular modes like Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag were like better, just all around.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
think that
mean, they
we've
still have those
also.
modes. You can still play them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just
I
like
think.
weird the route they.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. The thought of Call of Duty being where it is today is I don't. I think gaming right now, they think of us as zombies with wallets. That's all they really think of us, and I am pretty sad
It's
about
kind
it
of how we
because
act though too. It is a market. It is like a market sentiment thing, like spender sentiment thing.
yeah,
And that's why they're treating us this way. That's I mean part of it. Part of it. Also, I feel like the CEOs and people in those conglomerates are like super out of touch as well. But yeah, I mean they're getting money from this all this bullshit. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a
yeah,
zombie
and
without a wallet.
I think people like really like gaming and like love it like we do, um, and who have a fucking brain in their head. I think to have those both those things is pretty. We're probably the outliers in that aspect because I think people who like gaming it does attract more of like the dopamine addict type of type of people. You know what I mean? Like I know myself, a
Yeah.
very addictive personality. Like love to dopamine it up all the time, but like as you get older and you find out that, like what's important to you, um and you get less enticed by those things, as a teenager all you want to do is like chase pussy and smoke drugs and stuff, um but like as you get older it's like you get less like hypnotized by those things, and then you're left with the things that matter to you. And for me it happened to be gaming, I guess for you guys too, because like obviously you care about it. But yeah, no, that's typically what gaming is. It's those dopamine addicts that are willing to open up their wallet for their next fix, whatever it is, whatever it's gaming, gambling, drugs, alcohol. Like, it just doesn't matter. So it just attracts that fucking brain dead crowd. Obviously, we know the communities in these games, in these the communities involved in these games are really like they're fucking interesting people. That's for sure.
I will admit I'm not really helping out that cause of like trying to change to be better because I just now literally complained about a game about Ghost of Tabor being that kind of game where it's, oh yeah, you can buy these extra items just to get a
Mhm.
little boost on this kind of stuff. So I will admit me complaining about that is definitely not helping
Yeah,
towards
yeah. No, it's
being better.
and it is true
Eh.
what I was saying. Like that does it feels normalized, these versions of the game, right? So it's like we've tolerated it. It's kind of a normal thing now. Okay, the game's funner if we don't grind it. Let's just buy the extra version. It's pretty normal. Like I have Edge of Darkness and I have Nuclear Knight, so I've done it all too. But then that goes into like, oh, what do majority of people find fun about the game? Okay, we all know that people have a better time with the game if they're, don't have to like suffer through using the MP40 for like 2 weeks to like gain a level. Okay, good. Oh, but majority of players will have a better time with the game if they get more money. Oh, majority of players will have better time with the game if they get like, a fucking UAV attached to their like chest rig or some kind of crazy shit. And so instead of actually making the game better through this like monetized aspect, which is still a problem, by the way, we shouldn't be encouraging these
Yeah.
versions of the game. They now are chasing what people are having better time, what people are having a better time with in like a short form. So it's like, okay, yeah, sure, this will kill our game and just like suck the soul out of it, but you know, in the immediate future, people will feel like they're gaining this huge advantage for at least for a few days, and just they won't have to suffer through like all of the hardship that we've developed into the game because we've added this pay to win thing. But they don't have like a timeline in their head. But like getting an extra version into the game is like, it gets you ahead a little bit, but it's still a long lasting wipe, and it's still a grind that you have to get to the better gear. Like it's gotten to the point where
Yeah.
they might as well just let you buy all the way to the top trader levels. Like, might as well just get to the point where you can just buy your trader levels. Doesn't matter which one. And that would be a very
I
like
mean, 3 months.
short-sighted type of pay to win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 3 months wipe makes sense for the grind that we have. It does make sense now thinking about it,
this
considering
game,
how much time you
yeah.
actually in Tabor, yeah.
Yeah,
In
in Tabor.
Tarkov, I feel like in Tarkov it's similar in that aspect, but the only difference I think is that Tarkov has its moments of fuck ups that everyone's like, oh, this is the worst wipe ever, or oh, this is the best wipe ever. And it kind of goes back and forth between that. And the only issue I really see Tarkov having is if they release the game into a 1.0 release, but we still have the issues of what we had back in like point 11 or point 10 for the updates and stuff like that.
Mm.
That to me tells me that they were in it for the money and didn't look at that detail that was missed. That's like a huge big deal.
Mhm.
Man, my brain is just fucking fried right now.
Oh,
Other than that,
yeah, you're telling me,
Tar-
man.
Tar-
Yeah.
Tarkov, I think Tarkov as an extraction shooter has its moments of glory, and it has things that are going for it that make it so unique and different from all the other games. But now people are trying to copy it. I mean, look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty almost copied it, but they try to make it as casual as possible, which it didn't work well because DMZ fucking sucked.
You're right.
No
It's
one
not
played.
Jackie. It's Jakey. Sorry. go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's yeah. It literally was the worst thing that Call of Duty has done for a game mode, aside from the Spec Ops being so crap in Modern Warfare.
Mm.
And them trying to copy, like, stop copying Tarkov. Just stop it.
I
Make
think.
the game how you want to make it.
I mean, one of the biggest
Instead of
tragedies
copying.
is that they didn't. One of the best games would be if DMZ were good, though. Like, I wouldn't mind you like copying Tarkov if like you just made it good, but nobody does. They choose not to. I think what's so painful is about it is that they choose not to. They go, let's just make as much money as fast as we can. I mean, Call of Duty has definitely been going that way, but
As per usual.
as per usual, yeah, it's been kind of normal for them. But they remember where they started. They used to make good games, you know. Like,
This is not pre-recorded, by the way, in Narlos.
yeah, this is
Um,
YouTube.
This is all live. But yeah, it's something about extraction shooters. Basically, I understand that they're like genres have to have some similarities to each other. FPSs, right? They all have something similar to each other. You shoot a gun, you ADS, and your recoil is pretty good. Other like games and puzzle games like that, it makes sense. The issue that I have is when the mechanic of a game that you're copying off does not work in your game, but you still try to do it anyways. And VR game, especially a VR game, and don't get me wrong, but I will criticize this. I think Tabor or Tarkov's grindiness should not be implemented into Tabor's grindiness. I think there needs to be a balance because the average user for a VR headset for like a Quest 3 or Quest 2 have an average duration of a battery about 2 to 3 hours. That's without buying any accessories and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so when a player plays a game for that long, and especially in VR, they can only do so much within that time frame. And that's why I think a lot of people leave and extract early into Boar because they have shit to do. They have stuff they have to take care of. They have to get all the questing done within a certain time frame, within 15 minutes or less, and then extract, like on Island or on Matka or on silo. And I feel like that's an issue in VR because VR does take a lot out of you. It's a more physical game than most other games out there.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
that's just because it's VR.
in the terms of like it not being as grindy as Tarkov, it definitely isn't. You know, like I think they're at a to talk about the balancing of Ghost of War is tough because it is so early. But like, yes, I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying. Like, it can't be as grindy as Tarkov. Like, you can't have a game where you've been trying to do one task for like 9 hours because you're trying to get a Kappa container, right? Like that would never fly in VR. Then that being said, playing devil's advocate, it's like, okay, if you want a bit of a shorter term, less of a grind of a game, just like go play Pavlov or go play a different game, you know, a different shooter.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. That is fair. But I will counteract on this and saying that if a game has a grind set to it, they need to determine what the average player and how long they averagely play
Stayed
it.
on Steam.
So let's say, for example, but I believe Tabor should have just stayed on Steam. I mean,
Why?
It wouldn't fly.
I want to know. I want to know why he thinks that.
I strongly disagree
I-
with Goat and whoever said, and Narlos.
Whoever
I
said
think
to
it
stay
wouldn't
on Steam.
fly because
Why
the
stay
amount of
on
money
Steam?
that
Because of PC.
the reason I think it's because like
Money?
the money, like there's money. Oculus literally, they would have not gotten the amount of money for this game if it was just on Steam or just PC VR. There's no way. The 10,000 people playing. Hold on. There's a statistic thing that was made by Rage. Hold on. Tabor stats. This is actually the actual statistic of both Oculus Quest user and Steam VR user. Let's look at it here. Let's figure out the amount of players playing on Quest versus the amount of players playing on Steam. The amount of players that are playing on Steam is 412.
Mhm.
The total players that we have right now is 4,000. You tell me
So they're
that they
one-
would have fucking
1
survived
to 10
during
yeah.
that time. Holy shit. Dude,
So
just
yeah,
what the
dude.
There's
oh,
no
man.
way it would have stayed on Steam. It would have expanded upon that, and it's also expanding on Pico. And PSVR 2.
Now, did PSVR 2 come out? Didn't they push
I
that
don't
out and it
fucking
didn't
know.
work? What happened with that?
They never. I don't think they have.
It didn't
announced-
work, right? Or they had to retract
No,
it? Or...
people are playing on Steam VR, so it's like playing on Steam VR counts as like having a headset like that. But I don't think they have it unlocked to PS5. That's what they're trying to do, is try to transfer it to a console player. So, yeah, it's
What?
it's
I don't know
they
what's
haven't
going
yet.
on with that fucking issue.
I don't know
Yeah.
either, but all I know is sometimes this game. But look, back to the other topic, which was like the whole grind set. I think grind sets make sense to some degree. In a game like Escape from Tarkov or Ghosts of Tabor, it makes sense that there is a huge grind set considering that wipe happens every 3 months. And within those 3 months, you can get to level 5. No problem. Within 3 months, yes. I can understand that. However, it's about the fun factor more than it is about the timing of it all. I would like to have fun and not just kill players 24/7. I would like to be able to do other quests, like go to this location, and like what Tarkov's quests do, like you actually interact with different things. Like you can have trackers, put it onto like the back end of a truck, and then wait there for like 30 seconds. I don't mind that. That's not even tedious to me. That just sounds like there's something for me to do that will give me XP. And if there's anything that they could add in that could maybe speed up the process, is maybe daily quests for like money or items and stuff like that. That would make, in my opinion, the grind set feel a lot more fun and more dynamic than what we have now. That's the only thing I really care. I don't care how long it takes for the grind. If I can play like an hour a day, that's fine. But it's just, it needs to be fun. That's all I care about. It needs to be fun.
Uh, are you sure you're using the word properly? Because I don't think it needs to be fun.
Yeah, I would like to argue too.
Really?
I don't-
Okay,
I
shoot
don't-
your
I
shots.
don't think Tarkov is a fun game. Like, nobody plays Tarkov to have fun. They play it because it's rewarding. They play it because it's really difficult, and when they accomplish something, they feel extremely rewarded for it. So that is a huge, I would say, integral part of extraction shooters, is that they're not fun. They're extremely grindy. They suck. You suffer, and after that you are rewarded with this because you accomplished something that was that way, that was hard, that was complicated, that you had to suffer for. So they're more rewarding. That's why people play them, in my opinion. That's what I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Okay,
What
Z,
I like to
shoot.
say, what I like to say is you're supposed to have a toxic relationship with these games.
That's right.
They are
Jesus Christ.
terrible.
I have fun
But-
in Tarkov.
You're addicted to them.
I
So
have fun in Tarkov too. It has its moments, but it's more rewarding than fun.
So-
It's not
okay,
that it's not
hold on,
fun.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, hold on. Now I'm gonna counteract with you this.
all right.
You think it's because the reward is fun to get?
No. It's
That's
not.
why it's fun.
It's
No.
not
That's-
fun to get.
That is
No,
fun.
It's not.
That's
it's
literally-
not.
The reward of getting something out of what you did for the grind is fun. That's why you play it.
Do you
okay,
have
there's some
fun playing
moments-
Elden Ring? Do you have fun playing
Yeah,
the same
'cause
boss
I actually get to
300 fucking
explore.
time? No, I'm not talking about the
That's a
exploring
skill
aspect.
issue.
No,
That's a
no,
skill
no,
issue.
No,
That's a
no.
skill issue.
Do you have?
That's a skill
okay,
issue
have
right
you
there.
have you beat every fucking? Have you played Sekiro? All right. Do you have fun
I haven't.
playing the same
I have
boss
beat
like
all
fucking
bosses
200
in Dark
times?
Souls 3.
Well, Dark Souls 3 isn't the same thing.
Sekiro, I feel
and
like-
Bloodborne, those games are way harder. Bloodborne and Sekiro, you got to try those games.
Yeah, but
Fucking hard,
the
they're hard.
reward the reward of how hard they are is what makes it fun for people. Because you're punishing yourself to
Yeah, but
try
you
to
d-
get
you
a
don't
reward,
go-
something
Oh,
out of
oh,
it.
You never
Wait.
say after 300 tries on a boss that,
Order.
oh, I had fun.
Order.
You go, thank fucking God that's over, and I'm like so over this shit, and thank God I can move on to the next level. Like, you're so thankful that it's over, you know? Or like if you play like Elder Scrolls, right? You go, holy fuck, I wish I could forget that game and it was erased from my memory so I could play it for the first time again. You never wish that with fucking, you know, what do they call that? Dark Souls like games.
The Dark Souls like, no, hell
Yeah.
no. That's the exact reason why I play them. Because there's so much fun, because there's so many ways to build.
See,
There's
this
so
is
many
why
ways
their
to
definitions.
dynamic.
I feel like our definitions are fucked up here.
Ego. I found a fault in your argument. All right. You state that getting the reward is the fun part. So, basically, you're arguing that getting the reward should be easier, which is just a skill issue. Your whole argument is just a skill issue.
I hate you, and you're right. No, but no, yeah. I think there has to be a balance though for the balance of the grind set and the fun factor. And I understand,
This is
Jakey,
a
that
skill
like
issue.
extraction
Yeah.
shooters. Shut the fuck up. I understand. I understand completely that extraction shooters are meant to be hard, but I also think that not all extraction shooters should be the exact same amount of tediousness as the baseline, which is Tarkov,
I don't think any
especially
of them
in VR games.
are. I don't think there's a single game as grindy as one another in the extraction shooter
I don't.
base. When you're talking DMZ, Hazard Zone, you know.
But both
Breakout
of those
Infinite,
fucking
Ghost
suck.
of
They weren't
War.
even extraction shooters. They just literally were extraction shooters, but they weren't the genre that was extraction shooters.
I
Like they
just
were an
don't think-
off-brand.
I just don't think DeVore holds a candle to Tarkov in terms of grindiness and tediousness. I just don't think it does. I don't think it ever will because of the player base and how they want to make the game, and we'll see with the missions and stuff because it's gonna change
maybe-
so much. But,
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe it is a skill issue. Maybe
no,
I'm
this
just
is
rethinking my
this
whole
is a
life
skill
right
issue
now.
here that over 30% of players die to Phoenix in the last 7
That
days.
ain't me, Chief.
In the
That
last
ain't me.
7 days, guys.
That ain't me. They ain't me.
Players
Oh,
killed by
Narlos-
Phoenix. You see this?
Yeah, 31%. Narlo said the majority of Quest users are children, which is a huge problem that I know that no one talks about. They're keeping the game from improving on realism because they whine and complain about a realistic update. I
love
disagree
yapping
with.
about this. I love yapping about this. Please, please.
I-
Yeah, yeah. So
I-
go, take it away,
Yeah.
Zay. I want to hear this.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
I do
interested
have an
now.
opinion on this too.
Same here.
So-
Same here.
So, yes, kids, majority is children. Yes, they do whine a lot. They're very whiny. That's just with any game with children in it. I'm gonna repeat myself and say
Still.
that look at Tarkov. There's little to no kids, and usually if there is kids, they're above average in intelligence and maturity, and they're not whiny. And Tarkov remains one of the only popular games to not be overrun by children.
Mhm.
And Tabor is way less popular than Escape from Tarkov, and it's filled with children, and that's only because Tabor is easy. Not easy, but it's average this difficulty.
Compared to Tarkov,
And-
it's like a
yeah.
walk in the park. Yeah.
But I also think that the devs are not gonna let the whiny children get in the way. They're just because Scott quit a 6-figure job for Tabor. He's not gonna change his vision because
it
of
was
whiny
a
children.
7-figure job. Yeah, no,
Seven?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand. I don't think Scott's motivated by money. I think he's had multiple successful businesses and he just doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to
I
make
think he's just
something good.
motivated by VR.
I think he's motivated by a good game. Yeah, I literally I
He's a
think
nerd.
that's what it is. I think that's why Tabor is hitting its flywheel the way it is right now. It's just like it's just like the guy doesn't give a fuck. And I hope he doesn't get like he does, but he doesn't. And I hope he gives a fuck in ways that it's important and doesn't give a fuck in ways that important. Kind of like Tarkov, kind of like Stalker. Like people have their issues with those games, but they stuck to their fundamentals and the integral part of what made those games such a cult following. Like those aspects, like the persistent worlds and like the gun jamming and the realism, like so many things that people had issues with, that they were just like, these are they didn't make exceptions to certain things, but they will with other things. And that's what I think Scott's trying to do. And I think it's up to him to delegate. And that's why we need people like that, in office, and not like a prime minister like I have, who just fucking folds at every little suggestion, because that makes poor leadership and it makes a shitty game in the end of it. You're either just doing what your CEOs are telling you that your shareholders want, which is money, or you're just doing what your community wants, which is fucking adding vehicles or some dumb shit to an extraction shooter that's just gonna ruin the game in a week. It's just like you have to have a hard line. Yeah. So knowing where to put it, that's what makes a good business owner or leader or somebody who's going to be making these hard decisions in these games. So don't
think
fold to
that-
these kids.
I think the difficulty though is that majority, I wouldn't say majority. I'm going to guesstimate, do not quote me on this, but I think that the amount of players between kids and adults is a 50-50. I think.
And
I
you're
think-
saying
I
the player base in Ghost of Tabor.
How
Just-
like
I
yeah
just
like
know.
like the percentage of like kids versus adults playing the game.
Ghost
I
of
think
Tabor.
it is
Not Tarkov.
again. I'm guesstimating.
Have
That's
you
what I
ever
said
played
before.
Tabor?
Holy
Yeah, no.
shit!
It's
I
gotta
mute
be-
everyone
it's
in
gotta be
Tabor.
like-
I just don't listen to them.
I would say it's 18% people under the age of 16. Let's say 80% of people under the age of
Yeah, I would say that too.
maybe even under the age of 14. I think it's about 80. I think it's a pretty large majority.
you think that total player is like what 200 adults and then 3,800 or 3,200 plus kids?
Whatever 80% is. I wasn't good in ratios in high school, so yeah, 80%.
Get ratioed, bitch. Here, let me hold on. 4,000 divided by. Let's say you said 80%, right?
Push the kids out. Yeah. I don't know.
Honestly, don't think it's hard to
3,200. Yeah.
push the
I
kids
mind.
out, cause think about it. No game, as far as we know, has ever been in the situation where right now it's easy and it's supposed to be something that it's not. And really, there's no way to predict what's going to happen to the children in the player base.
Mm.
So you can't really say that it's hard or that it's easy.
They'll run out
It's
of gear and move on. Yeah, that's
yeah,
probably what will happen most of the time. And most kids would probably do. I mean, hell, 10,000 people were playing originally, and now it's just almost 4,000. So 6,000 people left after the update happened.
That's normal for wipes. Games that wipe though. Everyone likes to play early wipe. It's fun.
Gary White, you're
Uh,
old.
I don't understand when people complain about how
39.
difficult
Yeah,
Tabor
three
is.
guys
The
getting
game is easy
closer.
as fuck. I wouldn't say sticking NRS in an, in an arm or applying a bandage is considered an overly difficult task. I agree. And I think once they start adding in more implications of difficulty, like for health, maybe they'll add in like some radioactive shit, which Tarkov still has that symbol there. Never had
I don't think
anything to
they're
deal with
adding
it
that
other
in
than
Tarkov. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that.
yeah.
I think they
But
wanted
the
to,
the
but they
thing
didn't.
they're definitely focused on, I think, making the game not easy, but making the mechanics like making the foundation for the mechanics.
Mhm.
That makes sense, and that's why the game is probably easy right now. It's just a really, I'm gonna keep saying it, but I might be changing my mind on it. That it's a very grindy game, but not as grindy as Tarkov. You are correct on that. It is still grindy though.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I think Zai. I think what you were saying before, like you were hoping. I think you're hoping what I've always been hoping in this game is that like it becomes that like more of a realistic mil sim tactical game
Yeah.
that pushes out the kids and brings in
hmm
adults, which they call market moving, which means like you made something that brings people into the space.
Yeah.
Um, I think Tabor is already that way in terms of like market moving, where people want to play VR because of that game, and like if they just stuck to the guns like Tarkov did, I think that's what it would cater to a large player base that's looking to get into VR, but just thinks it's this niche little gimmick that like is for kids.
I mean, the suppression idea that you had, Z, was actually a really great idea because not only would that actually push a lot of people out, because I would say it's an annoying mechanic in a lot of games, but when done right, it's probably the most useful tool that anyone can use in a game. For example, the Division. That suppression mechanic is great for PvE action, and it makes you have a chance to actually flank an enemy or not just, have a PvP battle instantaneously like in its arena shooter. So that would push people to stay inside more, wait for the opportunity of killing someone, or, taking the risk of running outside and using his tree as cover. Like it makes sense that that would be implemented into a game like this. Same thing with like splints. Like if you have a broken leg, you can makeshift a splint after you're hurt. You can go
Yeah.
inside. You can get two sticks and a bandage, wrap it around your leg, and call it good. Or if they actually want to do something that makes the fishing rod useful, you can break it in fucking half and use that as the sticks for the thing. Because that I don't know why the fishing rod's there to begin. Is that a streamer item?
No,
The fishing rod?
I think it's just a
No.
random item that they had. And they never.
It's rare, but it's like cheap. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's like why?
Yeah,
Tabor is
so
why I got
Gary
VR.
White, who is 39, says Tabor is why I got into VR. I didn't nor ever really played shit other games. Liked it, good gunfight, made my day. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think games like Tabor. I hope that the guys who make Tabor don't underestimate themselves. I think that if they do stick to their guns, that they really are gonna move the market into a space like VR, like Gary here. And it's just crazy. Even like for me, I've always been this way, but I always like rejected the what everyone else liked. So when I got VR, I was like, Tabor, I'll get around to it. Everyone's loving it right now. Like everyone's freaking about Ghost Tabor. I'm like, whatever. So I played, basically every game under the sun other than Ghost Tabor. And then when I picked it up, I was like, oh yeah, like this is definitely one of the better games I've played. So yeah, like I think these guys got to stick to what they're doing, and stick to the plan. And even if it pisses off a bunch of kids, yeah, like why the fuck would that matter? It's not their money anyway. It's their
Yeah.
parents' money. You want their parents with the money to play the game, not the kids who are stealing their money from their parents.
Trading is also a huge problem that makes zero sense on how often it happens. Do you mean trading as in like IRL trades,
Trading.
like you actually like trading as in
Oh,
you
no,
have
like
two
shooting
players
each
that will
other.
trade, or do you mean like
Neuroscience.
Oh,
On
trading?
how often it happens. Yeah, that I
it
agree
does
with that.
happen often.
It happens way too
I've
often.
seen a couple of I've seen a couple of people that died on top of radio,
Mm.
and they're just, you know, bags are just there. I got free loot out of it. I got a suppressor. I got a GPU.
Yeah, trading
and a couple
happens
other
too.
things.
Like trading happens in Tarkov, but the ballistics are realistic. Like it's super rare that it happens, and like it happened to me once last wipe in Tarkov, and it's because like the ballistics are like you have a split like fraction of a second where two bullets are flying at the same time and both kill both of you. It's hilarious when it happens, but like it's rare. It's like real life. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it happens too much in Devor for sure. It's probably because of
Two
like desync
players.
issues and shit.
Two players kill each other. Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah.
There was an item-based mission a few wipes ago. Yeah. Honestly, I know they had that originally, and I wish they had it back. But I understand that there might be a little glitch or a hitch in the system that would be making it incapable of, you know, being used. So I think the reason why they removed it was because there's a glitch that happened in it. Kind of sad, but at the same time, it's like understandable, because I mean, if there's a broken quest system in the game, it's kind of like one of those things where you're just like, yeah, that sucks. Um, Other than that, man, like Tabor is in a good solid state right now. I would say it is far better than it once was before, and I'm glad that we um went past by the I'm glad we went past by the cat bunker update. Honestly, I feel like that got a lot of controversy and even sparked up some drama that happened in the Tabor community, which was pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie, and I might have started that unintentionally.
Was it
That
really
was-
you, Goat, that like kicked it off with that
Dude,
video, and then
so-
Nova
so-
picked it up and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking
Okay,
shit all over
so-
these people."
So I'm gonna give you all a little story. Okay, you want to sit down by the campfire and listen real quick. Jakey even knew about this drama happening in the midst of it because he got invited to a Discord call with Nova ZQ and a couple other people, which I'm not gonna name. But
I was a silent
here's
observer,
the thing.
and I
Yeah,
observed
he was an
a few
observer.
Interesting things amongst, very not
There were
very
some
emotionally intelligent people.
There were some wild claims, but the one thing that stuck out was I made a video called "Why Ghost of the Boar Still Sucked," and my claim originally, which I don't think anymore, as a heads up, is that because of Tabor copying Tarkov, it can probably dumb down the way the game is played, as well as assets being, or I don't think I even talked about the assets part. But essentially, I complained about how Tabor is not in a good spot right now during the update of the bunker update. And it talked about like how they need to start focusing more on bugs and they need to focus on um, content. And I even put in my description, because the development cycle of it's been about almost 2 years now since the game first released. And it was originally not good in my head. That sparked up a conversation between me, Nova ZQ, and a couple of other content creators that basically agreed with me on my video. And a lot of them said, "Yeah, we agree with you, and we want to make a video on this." And there was a lot of things happening else as well. Like there was some trolling in the Discord that I remember on Tabor that was a bit ridiculous. They were just trolling the moderators, saying like, "Ghost of the Boar is great. I love the new cat update." kind of like those generic like bot answers you usually get just to annoy the moderators. Um, and then me and one of the moderators actually did a debate on the Discord. Then I apologized because I realized that I made a mistake of debating it like that in a very childish manner. Um, but other than that, what came up of it became a slew of heated debates, arguments, and I would say even doxing, because Scott's information, which I was not a part of, luckily, um, got out about him and his real life stuff. And there was a lot of things happening where they wanted to just exclaim how who Scott is and what he's done and what happened to his past. And it was a terrible experience to see that happen. And when that
I think
happened,
who fucking got involved with that? Because I know Nova was like wanting to be a part of that, or he
Nova
hinted to it a lot of times. He didn't actually do
Nova
anything, but
Nova did do that. And then
yeah, that guy's a fucking piece of shit.
and then the politics of the war and debate. Yeah, it was really ridiculous. And then the other one was Tritus. I might as well just say out the names. And then one of his friends, not Tritus's friends, Nova ZQ's friends. Tritus made the thumbnail for Nova ZQ's video.
Yeah, those guys are
And
such close
he was
tracers.
the one.
It's insane. Yeah.
I was only a part of it because I was intrigued about how they thought my video was intriguing and how they thought I was right. And the mistake really was knowing how they would use that to their own advantage from their own videos, i.e. Nova ZQ make his video what I basically said, but with a couple additions of the asset flips and a couple other things. He basically copied my homework. How I said he like Tabor copied the homework on Tarkov, which I'm not gonna lie.
Isn't that ironic that that was the joke he copied, and like it was like because he copied your video? That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was so weird because I was the original guy saying that Tabor sucked, and no one really wanted to talk about it because I feel like people were complimenting it too much. There had to been something wrong with the game, and there was. There was multiple things wrong with the game that I thought was being ignored. But over time, that turned into a good relationship between me and Scott for now. I haven't talked to him in fucking forever, but I was able to do a online interview with him about him, how he made Tabor, what has happened with Tabor, and what he wants to do in the future. Sadly, he had to leave within like 30 minutes, so we only had like that 30-minute/hour interaction between each other because there was something happening in his life that I will not discuss further because of privacy. However, for the whole drama that happened, it was one hell of an experience to not only understanding how Tabor is very much I would say Tabor is in a good state now. But back then, a lot of debate had to happen because of the Cat Bunker update. Literally, the Cat Bunker update was the real reason why that entire thing happened in the first place. So, other than that, it was sad to see that they went so far as to actually pull up like real life information of Scott and a couple other developers, and they try to use that to
And
their
who's the
advantage
main
by
culprit
posting it
of
to
that?
Discord.
Who's the main culprit of that?
I don't
Is that
even
Nova?
fucking remember. I don't even fucking remember. All I know is that someone looked it up. I was like,
Nova was a big
I was stressed.
curator of it, though, right?
Yeah, I was fucking freaking out because I never wanted to involve myself like that. I just thought the game fucking sucked.
I know.
At that moment in time. It was just my opinion about how I thought it sucked and how they use like assets and stuff like that in the game, and they didn't really announce it because I thought they originally made it all in-house, but in reality they didn't. And I'm glad they announced it afterwards because I feel like transparency with a lot of game developers makes sense, but there is a balance between transparency and then revealing all your secrets on how you made the game. And so at the end of it all, that entire drama was unintentionally started by me And I did not mean for that to even go beyond that. And once that was dropped for like Scott's personal information, I left. Because there's no point in me dealing with that at all.
That's super
And I
interesting.
even yeah, and I
It's
even
interesting
apologized
that it went that
to
far. I'm surprised like it went that far. I thought like, you know, it'd just be a bunch of shit talking, but I'm surprised like it went in that far with those other guys.
yeah, and
Eh,
and the other thing is that like I even apologized to Scott himself like straight up like while that was happening because I felt like there was there was moments of time where
it did smash him,
I
didn't
just
it?
really
Yeah.
I just really wanted the game to be good, but I think I was too emotional at that moment of time because there was some other IRL stuff that was happening that was really stressing me out. Not having a job and all that shit. But I'm glad that I apologize to Scott and he accepted my apology. Same thing with to the Ghost of the Boar team. I definitely made the mistake of not really thinking with logic, but thinking with my emotions. And so I'm glad we got that figured out and out of the way. And there's nothing wrong with paid assets, by the way, Gnarless. No, 100%. I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with using paid assets. It's not. It's the idea that when I thought about it, and I thought about it deeply. Oh, pardon me. I thought that those paid assets were not announced, and they kind of kept it like secret, I guess.
I think
And I didn't
I
like
think
that.
the whole offense behind blaming somebody for paid assets, which is again, it's not the paid assets, it's the idea that somebody's trying to do an asset flip. They're trying to basically shove a bunch of assets in a shitty game and just flip it. I think that's what the whole like controversy behind assets are
Yeah.
like who cares about assets? No one gives a shit about assets. Like the game's good, it's good, it doesn't matter. But I think the whole like controversy is, oh, if you're paying for them you must be trying to do an asset flip, which is essentially a scam. So like that's why it's
Yeah.
offensive to like developers, and they go, oh, they just think we're trying to rip off our customers, our consumers. But I don't think there was any crime done. I think the biggest crime that was done here by you was that the sharks in the water smelt the blood, and they kind of went to you and for
Yeah, that was me, Gnarless.
validation,
Continue.
and I just find that so interesting that like that they agreed with you. You're like, yeah, like we should make a video, put our ideas together on what should improve with this game and why it's shit right
But
now.
they instead made
And
it
then they
much
turned
more
it into some
personal.
way different thing. Yeah, I find that so
Yeah,
interesting.
that was
And it kind of like, I don't know, because I'm still learning more about it. I feel like I wasn't like, none of it made sense to me up until like I
you
guess
you
roughly now. But like it does seem
you
like,
weren't involved as much. Yeah.
no, not as much at all. No, I was involved at all. But like, it does seem like that people kind of attached to your idea, and people like Nova and those other fucking dickheads, just like we're just like, oh, I bet we can farm clout out of just being as toxic as fuck and exposing and doxing. It became like such a weird thing. And you were like, what the,
Yeah.
like if I were in your shoe, I think,
It just came out of literally
yeah,
it came out of the blue and I was so fucking confused on like why we were bringing up personal life shit. I was like, "No, the fuck?
that is
No,
pretty
no, no,
bizarre though.
no."
That is pretty bizarre. Yeah.
And then they were okay, and then they were gearing up to do some other claims that I'm not even going to announce because that shit is way too far out of field that I don't even want to touch it with a 11-foot pole because that shit is disgusting. And they were very much about to be ready to drop the bomb on Tabor that would have ended it in both not only
My voice.
content creators being fucked over, but um
That's
but
so
also
funny.
people really making it's just it was so bad, man. It was so fucking terrible.
Who could you
But
DM us? Because I want to know this.
You know,
What the bomb was.
what's
I
that
really
say?
don't want to talk about that
You
because
you know you know what, Goat? You know what I think? Um, choose better people after that one, because
yeah, no, that was the lesson I fucking learned. That's why I'm here right now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Definitely, because I think those fucking toxic dickheads definitely thought that you were in it for something more nefarious that they were in on, which is clout chasing to other people's you know yeah, I just find that so interesting that those guys are such fucking dickheads, and like you didn't really expect it. You just thought they were like maybe cool content creator dudes, whatever. Yeah, I just find that so
Yeah, and
interesting
then
that they attached it onto you like that, and we're just like, yeah, and just like went into doxing, and it just turned into some weird thing, you know. I find that so
yeah,
crazy.
it was so bad because I think the worst part about it was when I was getting involved with it and like understanding what was happening, I was kind of on the sidelines while they were figuring out like what was happening and then talking about like other people's like lives. And it was interesting to like listen to it, but I never wanted to like know about this shit. I didn't do the actual research to find out about like what happened with Scott and stuff like that. And honestly, and I think what's the worst thing that happened was it made Scott go into a panic, in an emotional panic. And it got so bad that one of the content creators was giving Scott shit for drinking on the 4th of July for his buddies in the military. And I was like, "What the fuck? You're really going to say that in the content creator channel and say that to fucking Scott?"
Jesus.
Like that's fuck that was way more fucked than like anything else that I've
It's-
experienced. And I've experienced a lot of shitty things.
Somebody
That
was
was
giving him
fucked
shit
up.
for drinking. That's funny.
No, they gave him shit and saying I don't remember even the fucking guy's name, but I know he was a piece of shit and everyone fucking didn't like him. And they basically said, "Hey, I think Scott's drinking because he wants to like forget about his fucking buddies who died in the military or some shit like that, or something like he's so drunk he probably doesn't want to remember his fallen buddies." So I was like, "What the fuck?" That was fucked. I'm gonna say that right now from the bottom of my heart. Whoever said that is a fucking asshole. You, out of everyone that I've like, dealt with in that drama, that was fucking shitty. Goddamn shitty. Beyond shitty. And I never want to see you in game or in real fucking life. Because it's on site. That shit's not okay.
I'm not surprised.
It's not okay.
Scott not
But
allowed
other
to
than
drink?
that-
No, he's allowed to drink.
It was the idea of him talking shit about his buddies who fucking died, which is sad because the picture in the old bunker was actually his military buddy that was in the old bunker. The picture of the military.
Oh,
dudes.
really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
know
that was one of the guys.
That's interesting. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it was sad, and that whole drama really made me fucking almost hurl and throw up from anxiety and stress because it was so bad because I didn't know what was gonna happen next. I didn't know when the new like news drop was gonna happen
Mm.
and stuff like that. And all that was from my fucking video just saying that I didn't like the fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's interesting.
I never wanted to get that
It
far
attracted
into that
all the
shit, man.
trolls and like the fucking narcissists and clout
And,
chasers.
and the
yeah.
Discord was fucking on fire. I don't know
Scott's
what
cool,
the
dude.
fuck
Yeah, I agree.
happened. I don't know what the fuck happened in the Discord. It was just like
Got a
the
little much,
moderators
eh?
was just yeah, like the moderators couldn't even fucking handle it. It was just all going left and right. Even the moderators was like trying to argue with everyone.
Yeah.
And it was like at that point you needed to just mute general chat or keep it at like a slow pace. And the only reason why I got an interview with Scott was because I replied with him and I said, "Hey, can I talk to you in DMs?" And that's how I got that interview. And that's how I was able to maybe not save myself, but kind of make grace with Scott and the developing team because I never wanted that shit to happen. That was fucked. Ugh, God, it
Um,
makes me want to throw up.
Sorry to interrupt, but I do have to leave.
Yeah, we
Damn.
should probably wrap this up anyway. Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, did not mean to go on that spill. That was my bad. Oh.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, no, I just found that situation interesting. Like, I was like, what the fuck even happened? Because I had no idea. So I had no real clarity on that situation. But yeah, no, it makes sense now.
It wasn't even worth
Yeah.
to like even be a part of. Honestly, it just made my whole entire anxiety peak. That was so bad, man.
Definitely got out of hand. That's hilarious.
Hilarious outside of it. If you were inside of it, it would have been a different story.
Nah, it's funny. It's funny as shit, actually. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man.
All right.
All right, well, I'll see y'all later.
Call it a night. All right. See you, Zay.
See you later,
See
Z.
ya.
All right, chat. It's good to talk with ya. Good to talk with y'all. Good to get that off my chest finally after so fucking long.
Good
Uh,
cast.
I'm
Yeah.
I might
Thanks,
play
man.
Tabor tonight. Might play Tabor tonight. I don't even know.
It's what is it? 2 hours behind for you? 3 hours?
It's
Oh,
like It's 8 o'clock right now for me.
yeah, you're 3 hours behind. Yeah, cool. Right on, man. So I want to do another cast. Probably it's just the next content update. Maybe let it sit for a week like we did with this wipe. See if we get
Yeah.
any thoughts about it, and then yeah, just go on another tangent. I think
think the,
ultimately I just don't want Tabor to go down the same road it was fucking Arena Breakout Infinite and fucking yeah Delta Hawk and all
As
that
long as they
bullshit.
keep bringing out these DLCs for skins, I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly.
That's totally okay.
Exactly. I think they'll do it the right way. I don't think these guys are complete fucking idiots, so I look forward to that. Yeah.
Not complete fucking.
Yeah, for real. No, I think they'll do good. They're not driven by greed like all these fucking wackos out here are. If you think about all these other companies and then you think of Combat Waffle Studios, it's a bit different. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I'll hold out hope until my heart gets broken once again.
All right. Well, I'll see you later, Jakey. I'll probably be up tomorrow, probably editing my video if you just want to chat and shit.
Yep, no, I'll be working all day. But yeah, I'll see you around.
See you around, brother.
Peace. Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys. Definitely more people joined this pod than the last one. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. How's the wipe going for you guys? What do you think about it? Having fun? Alright, guys, I'm gonna go. I gotta work tomorrow. I'll probably stream Ghost of War tomorrow.